Hey everybody, this is Brian, Sparky's Model Salvage. I thought I'd go ahead and maybe try and do a couple videos for you here. Um, I pretty much just wanted to share with you how I do this because I've been getting a lot of messages, comments, pretty much stemming from my Nova that I did. And now I did the Torino with the HVAC tape. And apparently, there's a the whole idea of the HVAC tape came from actually a friend of mine in Wisconsin that does foil. It's Troy Deal. He's in our model club, Midwest Scale Models. He was in Slam, and he has done the aluminum foil. I know he's not the first one that's done it, but he's done this for like I don't know, maybe like 20 years or something like that. And I tried to pick up on the technique. He had they did full scale or full like couple pages. Let's see if I have the magazine. I don't have the magazine in here, but they on Scale Model magazine, I think it was. They did a couple pages on him, and he explained the technique step by step. He showed me a few times, and I just could not pick up on it. It's just for various reasons. So I thought, there has to be an easier way, but like I was onto something. I knew I was onto something. I wanted to do more wrecked than a lot of my models are. They're all of them are weathered, but I do a lot of the rust with the Dremel tool and all that, and all the weathering and stuff. But I wanted to get into like more wrecked, but I needed to figure out a way to do the wrecked an easier way for me than doing the aluminum foil. So I don't know, I guess I was just walking around Menards one day and I seen the HVAC tape, and I just thought, man, I could probably do something with this. I mean, it's the tape, it's this stuff, obviously, right here. It's not as thin as aluminum foil, but it's when you apply it, it's sticky, of course, on the back, but when you apply it to the after you heat it up and you bend everything, you can make your own creases, and it'll crease, and you fold it to the way that you want it, and like, so when you're, I'm gonna do some videos on how I actually do this, but I know a lot of my friends on Facebook are on my page here too. But I mean, if you've been following me, I'm gonna be leaving here in about 3 weeks. I have a Jeep that's getting built out in Colorado. They're finally getting the parts for it. I've been waiting on an axle for over a year now, and I just got a phone call today that I'm gonna be out of here in about 3 weeks and head out to Colorado Springs. So I thought I really wanted to build like one more model before I left, but I wanted to do something different from the Nova and the Torino that I just did. I was thinking about doing something crazy like a rollover, where it's been, like they were doing 65 down the interstate and they just lost control and just flipped it, and just end over end, side over side, and it just like completely wrecked the car. And so I was going through my model stash. I have about 200-300 models, and I wanted something that doors were already open. I didn't have to cut them out. Trunk opens and everything. So what I came up with, got this 55. Already has a pillar missing, as you can see there. I think I got it in I had to have gotten it at a flea market because it's $5 price tag right there. So had to have gotten it at a flea market. I think all the parts are here. I didn't have the instructions with it. I do like to look at the instructions to make sure I'm not missing some pieces that might be crucial to the build that people would be like, oh, it's missing this, it's missing that. But once again, when you're doing wrecked stuff, you can be missing parts and it's not really going to matter, because if it's wrecked, then it's wrecked. Or if it's weathered, or if you don't want to put a motor in it, you leave the motor out and raise the front end up, get the camber different on the tires so it looks like the motor's been pulled, because of course you're losing 600 to 800 pounds and the motor coming out, so it's going to raise the front end. That kind of detail and stuff matters. But I like to make sure that I'm doing everything that I possibly can and get all the parts that I might want to show in the build. So I try to use the instructions. Thank God for the internet, because I just printed these off because I can't find the instructions for this. It didn't come with it. So I'm going to try and get this done in the next 3 weeks. I should be able to do it. I'm guessing I'm probably going to have about 40, 50 hours in this one. Most of my model builds, I average probably about, 25 to 40 in it. I'm probably going to go a little bit more with this one, maybe because it's going to be a lot of heating up the body and bending it. I guess I can kind of explain like the whole technique with the HVAC tape. So if you ever tried to do like a bend or like a smashed up body or something like that, when you heat it up, you're pretty much melting plastic. And that's all you're doing. So I mean, you're gonna have all the round corners. I did this. I showed a friend of mine yesterday how I did this. So you're gonna have like the round corners. You're gonna, everything is, you're melting it. So it's not going to look right, especially after you paint it, because it's when metal, of course, when you get in a wreck or something, it crinkles. You cannot do that with a lighter and heat. You can to a certain point, but it does not give you that effect of the metal bend. Here's the Nova I just did. Of course, pictures of that on my Facebook. Everyone's like going nuts over that thing. I mean, I'm not the best, but I don't know, I'd say I'm pretty damn good. So, whatever. I know, and the more that you do this, better you're gonna get. Here's a Torino. I just want to make it look like someone rear-ended it a long time ago, and it's just been sitting abandoned in a field for 30 years since then. So, and I'll explain, like, seeing this area right in here, like this is where the seam is of the tape, but you don't hardly see that because I blended it in with a Dremel tool and rusting technique, weathering. I use this a lot. It's actually that one that I use more with the orange rust. There's just a lot of different things that you can do, and you don't need to overthink this because it's really not that hard. All my models, like I said, I don't think I got any more than really 50 in a model that I've ever done. And my square bodies that I've done, those are the ones that I pretty much will have more time in because there's more stuff to do on those. These, there's really not. You don't have to worry about the truck beds. You don't have to worry, about a lot of different stuff with car bodies than you do trucks. So, like, I can go through one of these real fast. And, if it's just a curbside, you're not going to see that underneath. So, but as it's, see, I don't even care. See, as it's sitting there, you can't see the underneath anyways. So, I'm not going to do the bottom. If I can see part of it from the pictures, whatever I can see on the pictures is all I care about. I don't care about the underneath. This one was the same way. I had to cut out the whole back end of that because after I smashed it, the chassis wouldn't fit under it. So I had to cut out everything from pretty much where the axle mounts back, and I cut the gas tank out and remounted it up there. And you see the pictures on my Facebook page of how I had to cut the trunk completely open because this doesn't open. I cut these with the Dremel tool on the sides, and I just ran the X-Acto knife and just kind of scored it to where it would just bend just a little bit and open up just enough to where it kind of shows like, okay, the trunk was open, but now it's shut. Well, at least try, because you can't completely close it because, it's smashed. But then after I put it all together, I thought, oh crap, I forgot to put the gas tank in it. So then I had to make something, because this was complete hollow. I had to make, a bar to go across it, fuse that together with sprue, heated up sprue, melted it, put that in there, and then just took a wire and just wrapped it around it until it's nice and tight, and now I got a hanging gas tank. So I meant to do that before I put the chassis on, but forget about it. That's why I like the instructions. I don't want to have to take stuff apart after I glue it, because I don't use regular model glue. That's the stuff that I use. And once it's on there, that ain't coming apart. You have to put that in. I don't care if you put it in a freezer, because as much glue as I use, I make sure my stuff, it's not going to come apart. I don't want to have to worry about when I go to a show transporting it, put a bunch of cotton balls and newspaper and stuff breaking off of it and getting to the show. Then all of a sudden, now I got 20 pieces to glue back together, because I don't use, I use the cheap model glue, which I can't stand, or I didn't use enough glue, and now I'm having to glue everything back together. I'm trying to make some videos and stuff of everything that I really use. I got a lot of stuff here that I really don't use. I really need to just get rid of stuff. But I'm going to try and make some good videos of this build and the process. And this build is going to be, everyone's going nuts over that. And I know I'm not the first one to do the HVAC tape. There has to be some other people out there that are doing it. But the way my page is blowing up and the messages that I'm getting in all the model groups, I probably belong to, God, I don't know, 100 different model groups. Everyone's like, what's the HVAC method? What's the HVAC method? And I honestly cannot believe nobody else has ever used this for weathering or making actual metal, make it look more like it was actually hit in the creases in the metal and stuff, instead of using just nothing, basically. The foil, if you can master that, good for you. But I can't do that. I just cannot do that. I've tried and tried and tried, and it just does not turn out the way I want to. And I don't even post any of that on my page because it just looks absolutely horrible. And I will not. This is great. This is great. I haven't mastered it yet. I still like very far away from where I want to be, but you got to start somewhere. And the more that I do this, the better I'm going to get. Just like anything else you do in life, you know. So I'll get better at it, and I'll just have crazier builds. I don't do this year round because I have a seasonal business, and when I'm working, I work about 60 to 100 hours a week for about 7 months out of the year. Don't work every day, thank God. Do have days I can't work because of the weather or something else, but I'm off for about 4 months out of the year. And I don't normally stay around where I live. I'm between here and Colorado. I'm trying to figure out a way in my little studio place that I've got out there to where I can take like a portable toolbox on wheels or something and put some stuff in there and build while I'm out there, just to give me something to do, because I go out there to go wheeling in my Jeep, and I'm up in the mountains every weekend, and it'll just give me something to do during the week. So hopefully, maybe in the next 3 weeks, I can come up with something and maybe take some kids out there and do some videos from out there, and that'd be cool. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and get this 55 done. I have a friend that wants me to weather his model. He's local here in town. I get a lot of people on here that want me to do stuff for them, and I just have no desire to do that. Sorry. The only thing I could really say is, from how I learned how to do this is YouTube. Back in the day, I've watched probably about 100 hours of military weathering, because back 6 years ago, not many people were weathering cars. Now it seems like there's a lot of people doing it, and that's cool. That's, because back in the day when only 5-6 years ago when I was going to shows, there wasn't hardly any weather stuff, and me and Troy Deal and a couple other people would go to these shows, and I just felt like we were kind of getting skipped over, because like they don't want to judge a car that looks like crap. Well, that's the whole point of it. We did this on purpose. It's weathering this, and we changed a couple shows now that actually have weathering classes, and different classification. There's different classifications of it, but it's like mainly weathering classes, and so we fit right in now, and that's awesome. And there's a lot of people now doing weathered, and a lot of people that claim that they can never do it, and it's like, well, I can never do something shiny. I just can't do it. There's just no way. I'm sure I probably could, but I have no desire to learn, because what I do with these right now, I absolutely love it. So I'm not gonna try and do anything nice. To me, this is nice. So, and my page is blowing up because of it, and I have people out there that, when's your next build? When's your next build? Sorry, it's in the middle of summer. I'm working. Like, I can't. It's this last summer I didn't even come in here for 6 months, I don't think. So I'm gonna start on this, try and get this done before I leave, and I'll start posting some videos here. Yeah. So just stay tuned.